Hi, it's Kathy, and today I chose from Message from Your Animal Spirit Guides by Stephen D. Farmer, and I prayed and picked a card. For some reason, I picked octopus. It says, practice shape-shifting by altering your physical appearance and mannerisms. Now, I don't know what value this has, but I'll read the book to you. What is the value? What is the value of changing your appearance or whatever? So I'll read what it says. Everyone has numerous personas through which they operate, and you're no different. It's a matter of being conscious of those personas and modifying them through the art of shapeshifting. Just like actors do, study other people and notice their mannerisms, clothing styles, and how they walk and carry themselves. Observe animals and their behaviors and try to mimic them. Developing this ability can help you more readily adapt to the various situations you encounter, thus enabling you to deal with them more effectively. Let yourself be an actor in your everyday life and have fun with it. Just remember who you are at the core. I I don't know what to think about that. I'm comfortable just being myself, and I don't find myself acting. But the only thing I could think of is when I go to church, I try to present myself um, in a presentable way. Um, in my church, they all dress really nice for church on Sunday. I don't have that much nice clothes, but the little that I have, I put it on and try to, I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm not sure the value of shape shifting. Unless you have to go in front of an audience and you need to present a dynamic person, and maybe you're more shy in your everyday life, then I could see where you need to be a shapeshifter. You need to put on a dynamic personality. Anyway, I'm reading from Reverend Moon's autobiography. Here we go. Refugees were already streaming south to escape communist rule. In particular, the Communist Party's rejection of religion meant that many Christians were heading south in search of the freedom to worship. The Communists branded religion as the opiate of the people and insisted that no one could practice religion. This was where I went following the call from heaven. No minister would want to go into such a place, but I went there with my own 2 feet. As the number of refugees heading south increased, the North began to tighten its border security. It was not easy for me to get across the 38th parallel. During the time it took me to walk 48 kilometers to the border and until my arrival in Pyongyang, I never questioned why I had to go such a difficult course. See, that's how he was. He just accepted his course and patiently went that way. I arrived in Pyongyang on June 6. Christianity had set down its roots so deeply in this city that it was known as the Jerusalem of the East. During their occupation, the Japanese had tried in several ways to suppress Christianity. They forced citizens to worship at Shinto shrines and even had them bow in the direction of the imperial palace in Tokyo, where the emperor lived. After arriving in Pyongyang, I began my evangelical work in the home of Chor So-bra, who lived in the Gyeongchang-ri neighborhood near Pyongyang West Gate. I began by taking care of the children in the neighborhood. I would tell them children's stories that illustrated Bible verses. They were children, but I spoke to them in the polite form of speech normally reserved for adults and did my best to take care of them. At the same time, I held out hope that someone would come to hear the new message that I had to convey. There were days when I would watch the front gate the whole day, hoping that someone would come. Soon people with sincere faith began coming to see me. I would speak to them through the night, teaching them the new message. It didn't matter who came. It could be a 3-year-old child or a blind old woman with a bent back. I treated them all with love and respect. I bowed down in front of them and served them as though they had come from heaven. Even if my guests were old men and women, I would share with them late into the night. I never said to myself, "Oh, I hate it when such old people come." Everyone is precious, whether it is a man or woman, young or old, everyone has the same precious value. People listened to this 26-year-old young man talking to them about the letter to the Romans and the book of Revelation. What they heard was different from what they had heard elsewhere, so gradually, people hungry for the truth began to gather. Okay, I'll close for there. Close for now. I'm just picking out certain highlighted passages that when I read it, that I I felt that it was important. But I really recommend to get the book yourself and read about this man's life. He's an incredible man, and he has a new message, a new revelation, and it's important for you to learn about it. It it's I mean, don't you want to know what God is doing? What is God's focus on right now? And of course his focus would be on what the Messiah has brought to the earth, the teaching that the Messiah has taught. And so there are 8 great textbooks that he left for us before he died. He gave these 8 great textbooks. They're filled with his speeches, and they're all very informative about God. And one of the main messages for me that really moved me is that God is a suffering God. God isn't just sitting on his chair being all royal and and looking down on us from afar and unaffected by all the evil in the world. No, God is deeply moved and he's deeply sensitive. You think you're sensitive and you're hurt by things? Well, he's hurt even more by things because he is pure and he is completely a love. He is just love. So when he hears of all these stories, all these sexual predators on children, these things really hurt him. So he sent the Messiah, Jesus, and then Jesus said he would return again. And so he sent Reverend Moon, and in the power of Jesus, Jesus was working with Reverend Moon spiritually and brought the new truth, what we call the completed testament. We have the Old Testament, we have the New Testament. Now we have the completed testament. And you should definitely start reading those 8 great textbooks that Reverend Moon left for us. Anyway, I guess I'll stop for now, and thank you all for listening.